Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And in this video we're going to be installing this diesel heater on the Overland trailer. Stay tuned.
It's going to be legend, wait for it, dairy.
So for the past year or two, the big craze for camping for heat has been diesel heaters. I have been using the Mr. Buddy heater, this one here, this exact one, for probably the last, 10 years or so camping. It's worked great. However, the biggest downfall is it's got an open flame, and obviously if you're in a rooftop tent, if I knock it over when I'm sleeping, then obviously that could be a hazard. There's supposed to be built-in safeguards with these. If they do fall over, they're supposed to turn off, but this is still going to be hot. It's not the safest thing. And obviously, when I go to bed at night, I turn this thing off. I don't keep it running all night, which means you can get cold throughout the night as the temperatures drop. The diesel heater, everything is basically internal to this, and your heat will come out right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to mount this diesel heater, I'm thinking right about there. And we're going to get some piping to go from here that's going to pipe up into the rooftop tent, so that way we can have safe dry heat while we're out camping. Alright, so how I plan on mounting this is on the other side here. This is a Vevor brand, by the way. It's a pretty common brand that you just get off Amazon. I'll have this exact one linked in the description below. So on the back side here, underneath, there's actually a hole that goes right through the actual diesel heater itself. So I put a bolt through there, it comes out through this hole here. So that's a solid mounting point. And then this is an outer shell, this red piece that can come off. There's two clips here and then two clips on the other side that pulls the whole thing off. This is going to be another mounting point that we're going to use. Basically, this is just going to this is going to be the main one that's going to hold most of the weight on there. And then this one is just going to keep it from, obviously falling forward or backwards, just kind of another mounting point. And then I think what I'm going to do too is on the feet, there's two more mounting points. And when I put that, it's going to sit on right on the edge of the fender. And I think I'm going to, mount it to the fender as well. That way it's held on by 4 different bolts. So it shouldn't go anywhere with that. The first thing that I want to do is I want to take this diesel heater, I want to kind of set it up here, mock up where I want it. That way I can map out where I need to screw into this so I can put my bolt holes through. Got our first hole drilled. We're going to put this in there, line it up, and then that way we can figure out where we need to put these other 2 holes. Alright, fingers crossed, hopefully these holes line up. Alright, so it's sitting in the right spots, the holes are lining up. Let's just get some nuts on there to keep it in place. So we have the diesel heater mounted to the trailer itself. We got 2 bolts on the top, the 1 bolt on the bottom, and then we got another bolt over here right in the fender as well. So it's bolted on in 4 different spots. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's part of the trailer now. So it does come with some extra pieces here. Now, this is to your heat output. It's going to go in right here. This is a little too small for our purposes, so I'm going to have to run to the hardware store and get a longer one that's, bendable, because we're going to want it to route from here all the way up into the rooftop tent. So this is kind of pointless for us. So So this is the exhaust piece that we need to put on, and it does come with a muffler. And then this piece is your air intake. These two pieces are going to go on the bottom portion of the diesel heater. There's two holes in the bottom there, which I'll show you here in just a minute. One will be for exhaust and one will be for intake. You're going to have this assortment of clamps in the bag as well. This goes to your intake. So it's basically like a pre-filter. And then you have all these clamps in the bag here, which basically are going to clamp to your intake and exhaust. So we're going to start with our intake first. You're going to take your filter and then your black tubing and two clamps. Hook this into here. And then we'll slide our clamp on. And then with a Phillips screwdriver, you can just go ahead and clamp that down. And this other end is going to attach to the bottom end of the diesel heater. So throw your other clamp on, and then there's two holes on the bottom of the diesel heater. So the air intake should only fit on the air intake side, and it should be right where you see the fuel line going through. So you'll be able to see it when you look underneath here. Alright, so now that we have the air intake filter on, we're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing just with the exhaust side. So the kit does come with a couple of these little hanger pieces just so you can kind of get your exhaust out of the way. So I'm just going to hook it here. Actually, I already have a pre-drilled hole right here. So we're just going to line it up with that. Put our bolt in. Alright, so now that we have this thing bolted to the trailer, we have our exhaust hooked up and our intake hooked up, we're going to go ahead and get this thing wired to the battery. I do have a deep cycle battery that I just placed in here, so what we're going to do is run this wiring. I have basically an access door, you can't really see it on the camera there, but an access door on the other side of the diesel heater. We're going to run it through there, through the trailer, and then hook it up to the battery. So we got the diesel heater hooked to power on the battery, and it looks like our screen just turned on here as well. So this diesel heater also did come with a remote and a couple other odds and ends pieces. I'm assuming this is, you know, so you can put it like maybe on here somehow. Oh, you know what? It's probably to this. So this will probably go in there like that, and then that'll go in there like that. That's what it's for. We're going to get a longer one of these though. Alright, so now that we have this thing all hooked up, let's go ahead and get some fuel in it and fire it up and see what it does. That should be enough for testing purposes. It's kind of nice as you're filling, you can see the fill line right here. All right, I think we're ready to fire this thing up. I mean, it's bolted to the trailer, the exhaust and the intake is hooked up, it's hooked to the battery. Let's just open the garage door so we have proper ventilation and fire this thing up. All right, so it sounds like that glow plug is finally kicking on. I'm told the first time you fire these things up, that can take a while. So it's blowing, it's just not blowing hot air yet. But I think it's just still in the process of warming up. Starting to warm up a little bit. As you can see, the exhaust is obviously working. That's probably one of the downsides to a diesel heater is you have to be properly ventilated. You know, Mr. Buddy heaters, you really don't need that. However, it's going to be ventilated outside of the tent. The exhaust is going to be underneath the trailer. Sorry, dogs are barking, cars are going by. But that's the one thing that you got to remember is, you know, you don't want to be running a diesel heater with the exhaust in an enclosed space. All right, there you guys have it. I mean, this thing is kicking out hot air. Feels really nice. I need to figure out and kind of go through the manual to figure out how to use this display screen. I was able to set the time on it, but I need to figure out how to switch it from Celsius to Fahrenheit and kind of just play with it a little bit. But like I said, it's on, it's kicking out heat. Feels pretty good. I do got to run to the hardware store. Like I said, I got to get a longer tubing so I can pipe it up into the tent when we're camping. Anyway guys, I think that's going to be the end of this video. We're going to wrap it up right here. I will let you guys know how I like this diesel heater as we use it. But overall, it's kicking out pretty good heat right now. Anyway guys, that's going to be the end of this video. We will catch you guys in the next one.